welcome to piano. I'm so excited today because it's been a little while since you've had a good lesson here on YouTube for the public, right? Well, we had to get over the lovely COVID virus in my house first, but I'm happy to be back and bringing you on Broadway for our lesson today, okay? So, pull out your book and we'll get started, all right? All right, before we do that, let's like and share this video. Gotta go through my list, right? Like and share this video so that way more people can hear about the lessons that I offer here on my channel. Second, don't forget to subscribe. I've got my little banner thing there that I've been using. Subscribing is the easiest way that you can let me know that you like what I'm doing, and it just builds my community even larger. Thank you. Next, we actually operate the studio on a Discord server. So if you're looking for the invitation link to my Discord server, you'll find in the description of this video, okay? That's the heart and soul of my piano learning community. So if you need any help or you want to do a little video or show off a little bit of what you've been learning, that's the place to do it, okay? All right, I'll see you there. And finally, I'm on Patreon. So I keep this channel going, I keep the lessons coming for everybody because of the financial support of my patrons. I would not exist without them because it takes a lot of work to be able to do something like this week after week for the public. So if you can find a few dollars a month every chance that you get to support me on Patreon, I would really appreciate it. My lowest tier is at $5 a month. You can join, support me whenever you can, and I will keep making these lovely lesson videos for you, okay? Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. Like I said before, pull out your book. This is the Alfred Adults Greatest Hits, Volume 1, okay? We are on the song On Broadway on page 20, okay? Now, this is a great, great song to learn about something called syncopation. And that is a really, really interesting rhythmic difference that might come on off beats every now and then in the song. And you want to be able to learn how to do that. So open your book to page 20 and we'll get started, okay? So looking primarily at the beginning of the piece, let's look at a few things, okay? I see our time signature is 4/4 time. That's great because you already know how to count to 4 with the quarter note getting your beat, okay? I also see our tempo marking is moderately, okay? Moderately means that we're not going to be playing it too fast or too slowly. It's kind of in between, okay? I would say it's like a brisk walk, okay? And then looking at the left hand, I see some really cool articulation. We've got staccato notes in the left hand, and each left hand chord that I'm seeing is happening on the beat, okay? This is gonna be very important as we dive into the syncopation, which occurs in the right hand, okay? The left hand's gonna be that consistent beat underneath that rhythm, okay? All right, well, let's dive in. Let's take a look at the right hand to begin. I want to talk about syncopation with the rhythm as well as our hand position to begin, okay? So let's get started. All right, I'm going to switch to piano view and let's find our starting spot. Here we go. All right, getting started over here. Here we are. So when I look at the treble staff, I see that the very first note here is the bottom space occupied in the treble staff. That's actually going to be a treble clef D, okay? The one right next to middle C, all right? This one here, it says we're gonna start with a finger 1 on there, okay? Now I see a very large interval to begin and it's occupying the middle line of our staff. So that's telling me it's going to be a B. They're asking you to put a finger 4 there, so that way you can reach the other notes in this little melody pattern, okay? Now, since we've got eighth notes, I think it would be very smart of us to count out each measure with the eighth note, okay? So that would be something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? I'm gonna play the first measure only, And I want you to hear where the syncopation happens, okay? You'll notice that there's an interesting tied note at the end of that first measure, okay? Now we're coming in on the upbeat of beat number 1. You see there's an 8th rest to begin. So let me count off. I'm only going to play the first measure. I want you to listen to that rhythm, okay? Count it out loud with me. We're counting those 8th notes. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. 4 and. Do you see how I did that? Let's do that again. And I will say the actual counts this time. I don't know why I didn't do it the first time, but that's okay. My brain just stopped working right there for a second. Let's try it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. You see how that tie note happens there at the end? It's quite interesting to have that pattern. It's an 8th note tied to the last final full beat of that measure. That will happen many times in this song, okay? So I want you to be aware of once it happens one time, recognize that rhythmic pattern throughout the piece, okay? That way it's not quite a surprise when you come across it again. I'm gonna circle it so I can see it again. I see in the second measure, there's that pattern rhythmically, 8th note tied to a quarter note. I'm going to circle that too. Look at the third measure. Look at line 2. There it is again, 8th note. It looks like a single 8th note. You see with the flag? And that's tied to a quarter note as well. Yeah, same thing in the next measure. Wow, this is happening quite a bit. I'm seeing it in the very first 6 measures. It skips measure 7 because there's a big rest there, but then look at what happens in measure 8. Happens again. So this rhythm happens quite a few times, okay? Don't let that be a surprise to you, okay? Now, as we're going through here with the right hand, I'm only going to play the first 8 full measures, switching to piano view, and let's look at the notes, okay? I'll slow it down so that you can hear the note names as we're playing, okay? We have something really interesting that happens in measure 8 too. So don't be alarmed when you see my right hand move really far into some low, low notes, okay? It's supposed to happen. Here we go. Let's try it. All right, so beginning at the top, we've got finger 1 thumb on our D above middle C, stretching up finger 4 to the B, and we are in position here for the notes, okay? Now remember, as I play, I will say note names, okay? Take a look at the rhythm and listen very carefully as well. If you need to go back and play this section again slowly with me, that's perfectly fine. You do it as many times as you need to, okay? Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. D, B, G, A, D, hold. B, G, F, hold. A, G, D, hold. Rest. Up a 4th. D and G. B and D, hold. Rest and rest. D, B, G, A, D, hold. B, G, F, hold. G, D, hold. 2 and rest. 2, jumping down. G, hold, D, hold. Yes, there it is. That's the first 8 measures. Did you see how far my right hand had to jump? Yeah, so that section right there in measure 8, you're going to be doing a crossover. Your right hand will jump over the left hand for that single measure. Once you get to measure 9, guess what? You go back, okay? So you're not going to linger down there the whole time. You're going to go right back to where you were before, okay? How did you do on that first part? Okay. Yeah, the rhythm is tricky. Okay, that's why I wanted to go very slowly through this section. So just for us to feel better, let's do it once more. Right hand all by itself, okay? First 8 measures. I'll speed it up just a hair. Here we go. All right, starting with the finger 1 on D. Remember stretching up that finger 4 to your B up here. And we will begin. Ready? 1 and 2 and ready and go. And rest. D, B, G, A, D, hold. B, G, F, hold. A, G, D, hold. Rest. G and D, hold. B and D. Rest and rest. G, B, G, A, D, hold. B, G, F, hold. G, D, 1 and 2 and rest and 2 and G and D, hold, rest. And we move back. Okay? I hope that was a little bit better for you, okay? Remember, I've divided this up into sections just to make it a little bit easier, okay? So that part that we just played for the right hand is section 1. Okay, put a big number 1 at the beginning. The first 8 measures is section 1. Now, when we start at measure 9, put a big number 2 there. This is going to be our section 2. And that occupies the next 3 lines, okay? Measure 9 through measure 16. That's going to be our section 2, okay? We're going to learn section 2 now with our notes. Keep in mind the rhythm is similar to section 1, okay? We have those ties happening at various points within the measure, okay? It's not going to be a complete surprise rhythmically, which is a good thing, okay? Let's look at some notes. Measure 9, section 2. Okay, so we just got done playing way down here. G, D, right? But guess what? When we have to go back, we need to go back to where your finger 1 thumb is on your G above middle C. Okay? Now I see that the interval is a 6, so we're going to put that finger 4 on our E. Right? So let's go through this section, okay? Measure 9 through measure 16, okay? We've got this. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. G, E, C, D, G. E, C, D, hold and rest. G, E, C, D, G. E, C, D, hold and rest. Back to the original position. D, B, G, A, D, hold. B, G, F. Now this is different. G, D, hold. 2 and rest. 2 low notes. G, hold, D, rest. And that's where I'm stopping, okay? All right, that's section 2. It's a little different, right? So let's see if we can do it one more time, okay? I like doing things multiple times because it gives you another chance to get it right, okay? If you miss less notes this time around, that's good. That means that you're getting better, okay? The more you practice, the better you get at something, okay? Let's make it happen. All right. Looking here, we are going to start with our finger 1 thumb on our G above middle C, okay? We've got a really good presentation here of a new section. This is our section 2. Finger 1 on G. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and go and rest. G, E, C, D, G. E, C, D. Good. Rest. G, E, C, D, G. E, C, D. Good. Back to the original position. D, B, G, A, D. B, G, F, G, D. Very nice. Rest and 2, down low, G, D, rest. And there it is. Excellent. You've learned 2 sections of the right hand, which is amazing. Okay? Now, the final section is going to be section 3. You'll see it here starting at measure 17, okay? You actually see that it's a third ending, right? Because the first part that we've just learned, section 1 and section 2, that actually makes up the first verse and the second verse because there's a repeat, okay? Once you're done playing those 2 sections twice, then you hop over here to the third ending, okay? So you'll hop to the third ending when you see after measure 13 at the top of page 21, then you jump down over here to measure 17, right? Okay, so let's learn that section. It's not so tricky, so that's a good thing, okay? Here we go. Right hand, starting at the third ending, which is measure 17. We're going to put a finger 4 to begin here on our B. This is B above middle C. All right, let's count off. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and B, G, F, hold. D, F, hold, G, rest, down low, G, D, rest, back to F, G, rest, up the octave, F, G, rest. Now we have a staccato 6th with a B and G. And that's it for the right hand. It's not so bad. All right, what did you think about that? Yeah? I think that it's a nice little ending because it gives you a chance to sort of change a little bit of the melodic pattern, but keep the rhythm something predictable and something that the audience is already used to hearing. So that's a good thing. Okay, now we've got to talk about the left hand. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, we've gone through, 17 minutes of lesson, and it's just been the right hand. How are we going to get all this done in 30 minutes? Well, guess what? The left hand is so much easier than the right hand. The hardest thing about the left hand is remembering when the chord shifts, okay? And as we change into sections, I talked about section 1, 2, and 3. Those sections are natural transition points for our chords in the left hand, okay? So let's talk about the chords, okay? In section 1, we're playing on the beat, staccato, harmonic, block chords all the way through. And it's just 2 different chords. Not bad, huh? Let's switch to piano view so you can learn them, okay? You got this. Here we go. So in the bass clef, I see fingers 2 and 4. And the bottom note of my first initial interval here is a harmonic third, is a G. Okay, it's a bass clef G. I know that because it occupies the top space of the bass staff. Okay, so that says finger 4 on that one. So naturally, if we're playing a harmonic third, that's going to put your finger 2 on your B above that. Okay, now I see that harmonic third happens twice. And then take a look at the triad that happens next. We see that naturally our hand falls on a finger 5 F, 3 on A, and 1 on C. Guess what? That's the triad that we're playing. All right. And that pattern repeats itself. So let's play through it, okay? As you're reading the music, you will notice how this pattern goes, okay? Let's count off. 1, 2, ready, play. Third, triad, and third, and triad. Back to third, and triad, third, and triad. I don't have to say it anymore, do I? There it is. Keep going, measure 6, measure 7, measure 8, and that's the point where your right hand crosses over, and then I'm stopping right there. Yeah, so that's the point where you've got your right hand going over as you're playing your pattern. It's quite cool. So that's the left hand of section 1. Not bad. I knew you could do it. So, as we move into section 2, this starts at measure number 9. Our hand is going to shift just a little bit, okay? We will be switching to a first inversion 1 chord in C major. That's fancy talk for the first interval, or the first chord in measure 9 in the left hand, okay? It consists of an E bass clef on the bottom, then a G, which is the third above, and then a fourth above that G is your middle C, okay? Let's go back into piano view so we can play this part. Here we go. Okay, so again, we just got done playing that FAC, right? Now what we're going to be doing is just shifting down 2 of our fingers, okay? Pinky is going to go down to this E, and then our finger 3 is going to go on this G, okay? This is what the chord sounds like, right? E, G, C, all right? Now as we play that one twice, then we are going to be shifting our whole hand up. Take a look at this next chord. It consists of an F, pinky, finger 5, finger 2 on B flat, and then our thumb, finger 1 on a D above middle C. This is what it sounds like. Okay, so let's do that transition again. I'm going to move back down. Here we are, E, G, C. Shifting up, F, B flat, D. Very good. All right, so let's do that. Starting at measure 9, I'll count off. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Shift up, shift down, shift up, shift down, shift up, shift down, and then right here, it changes. Of course it does. We're going to start with a pinky finger 5 on F sharp, C finger 2, and D finger 1. This is what it sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so let's actually start at measure 11, top of page 21, left hand. We're going to be in that first inversion 1 chord. Here we are, E, G, C, and then we will try that top line, okay? Actually, the next 2 lines. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Shift up, shift down. F sharp, C, D. Good. Now back to the original, G and B. And there's your F major, G and B, F major. Final measure. And good. All right, you did great on that. I like that shift with the F sharp at the top of that page because it gives it like a different flavor, right? It like lets you know like, ooh, something different's happening here. Really helps your audience pay close attention, right? Because once they get stuck in a rhythmic pattern that know is predictable, when you surprise them with a new chord, they're just like, that was cool. So that's what you want your audience to do, okay? So that's our section 2 for the left hand. Now, as we go into section 3, starting at measure 17, this is very reminiscent of section 1, okay? Same chords, same rhythmic pattern with our quarter notes. The only change is going to be an additional very, very low G at the very end, okay? Let's give it a try. All right. Starting at 17, you know very well where we are. This is a finger 4 on G, finger 2 on B. This is below middle C. And we will play our pattern. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Measure 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, rest, low G. Ooh. It always makes it sound fun when you add some like big, strong, low notes at the end. It's just cool. It's like a cool surprise, right? Now, you're probably wondering, are we doing a hands together now? Well, yes, we are going to do a hands together. I'm going to play it nice and slowly, hands together. I will be doing the repeats, okay? The main purpose of doing this is so you understand the roadmap of this song, okay? It begins at the start, section 1, right? You go all the way through section 1, all of section 2. Once you hit that repeat sign at measure 16, you go back to the beginning. You play it all again until you reach the end of measure 13. Then you hop down to section 3, which is that third ending, okay? Then we end the whole piece right there, okay? With our super low G. Let me play the whole thing for you so you hear what it sounds like, okay? Now, word of caution. This song, with its syncopation in the right hand, is going to sound a little disjointed, okay? That's on purpose. As I am playing this, take your pencil, line up with the right hand notes exactly when those left hand notes happen. Those chords will line up with some of those right hand notes. It might line up with a tie, so be aware of that, okay? I like doing this part of the exercise of learning a piece because that way it's not as daunting when you're trying to play it hands together. You're like, what is happening with this? Why is this so hard? Well, if you've taken the time to line up those chords and notes, I promise you, it will be much, much more attainable to practice it once those have been identified, okay? Okay, you got this. Let's take a listen. Turn the ears on. Here we go. All right. You can tell I'm having fun. It's nice to be back. All right, in position, we've got left hand finger 4 on our G, 2 on B, right hand thumb on our D. All right. I'm not going to be saying anything because there's a lot going on in this piece. I want you to be fully aware of what's happening, okay? All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. And there you have it. It was fun. I really like this piece. It's one of those songs that can be like a good showstopper when you're performing for friends and family. It's full of surprises, right? All of those shift changes, the accidentals in the left hand when you get to section 2. It's quite cool if you get those chords just right, okay? And it has the same effect when you play it nice and slowly, also as speeding it up, right? It's got the same wow factor. So find some good satisfaction in learning on Broadway. It's a great piece, and I can't wait to hear you guys play it. Once you're ready for me to review some of the song, make sure to record yourself playing. Drop it on Discord, okay? We have the adults and teens class. You just drop your video in there and I'll take a chance to look at it, listen to it, analyze it, give you some tips and pointers to make it just right for you, okay? All right, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Remember, I'm on Patreon. If you want to support me, if you want me to keep doing these lessons that I enjoy so much, join as a monthly patron on Patreon, okay? $5, it's like the cost of a Frappuccino. It's like you want to have a coffee with your piano teacher, just join Patreon. It's easy peasy, all right? There's also some really good perks too. If you are a patron, you get like reduced recital participation fees, which is really great because we have 4 recitals a year and they're so great and so much fun. They're up here on my YouTube channel, so if you ever want to watch, there are recitals for you to check out, okay? Very good. So just check it out, see what works for you, okay? All right, I had fun. I'll see you all on Discord and on YouTube, okay? Take care. Bye.